What's up, everybody? It's Mr. Scary Muffin, and this is a Thoughts Talking TF2. I recorded it just yesterday, and I had to sneak this one in because of the Love and War update that is pretty controversial. Now, before I go into it, this video footage is not after the Love and War update. Unfortunately, it's from my backlog. I didn't have time to play too much, but I did get to watch at least a DSGL match, and I played a little bit, like 15 minutes here, a map there, kind of thing, just to get a feel of some of the new weapons. I had a lot of discussions with a lot of different people, from different, like, people who play very seriously, people who play very casually, that kind of stuff, just to get a general feel about the update as well. So let's talk about the update in terms of things that came out. First of all, the taunts, being able to do them with opposing team members, pretty cool. I just have to say that right off the bat, kind of stuff. Also, the video that came out, this 15-minute short, if you guys haven't seen it, it is amazing. Absolutely, absolutely highly recommend it because it is an amazing, amazing short. And somebody else pointed it out that Ashley Birch from Hey Ash, What You Playin'? It does the voice for Miss Pauling, and that is absolutely mind-blowing. So let's talk about the new weapon, starting with the scout new weapon, the backscatter, which is, as JMB described it, a backstabbing scout kind of thing. Backscatter, basically, you get mini crits when you hit people from behind, and the difference is you have like 4 bullets in your clip, and you also have no random hit chance, which doesn't really make a difference when you are playing competitive, but on pubs it'll make a difference, and it also is 20% less accurate. Now, I was watching a friend of mine, a coworker of mine actually, try out the backscatter on TR Walkway, and basically my general opinion of it is that it is not really worth using. It is pretty cool, has really good unique uses, like you can equip the bonk, get behind people, and just start two-shotting pretty much everything except a heavy from behind. I think it one-shots scouts from the back, it two-shots pretty much everything else. It can almost one-shot a medic. I think it's like literally a pistol gun shot away from killing a medic, so it does like 130 or 40 I think from behind. And 3 shots the heavy. Of course, when you hit them right from behind, it sends people like flying a little bit, so you have to aim your second shot pretty carefully before you hit them. It requires a little bit of skill, but the thing is, you can still two-shot medic with the scattergun. You can two-shot Demoman at point blank. So it doesn't really conserve your bullets as much since you only have 4 per clip anyways, and also is less accurate, which for people like me who absolutely suck at using scout is not going to be that handy. But it's fun if you like flanking people. If that is your game, you like to bonk behind, flank people, and then drink another bonk and get the heck out of there, you can do that. I know my coworker was talking about how he was spawn camping people with it, so there's also kind of possible things to do. The airstrike looks pretty interesting. This is the new rocket launcher for the soldier, and it actually seems kind of viable. Basically, when you're in the air, your rockets can be fired off quickly, really quickly, and that's really neat because it's kind of like the Beggar's Bazooka, but you don't have that weird like loading up time. I tried using the Beggar's Bazooka before. It's really awkward, like to load up the bullets. Airstrike seems a little bit more interesting, but again, the clip size is reduced, so you only have 3 shots anyway. So you go 1 in the air, maybe you get a chance to reload, and then you fire off all 3 in the air. That's possible. The explosion radius is also decreased, kind of like the direct hit or the other things like that. And also it does less damage, which also kind of sucks. But in other ways, it is also a little bit more valuable because you can hit people with a lot more rockets. I think in the meanwhile, I might actually try learning how to use the direct hit before anything else, just so I can get better at aiming the rockets at people. And then later on, I might switch back to a regular rocket launcher or something like that. But it is something that can be experimented with, especially if you have something like the base jumper that help you stay up in the air. Speaking of which, base jumper is a secondary for the soldier or the Demoman, and you basically just tap jump again in the air, and it launches out this parachute that slows down your fall. So if you rocket jump in the air, deploy the base jumper and reload, you can probably fire off a few shots at a time with the airstrike. rocket launcher, so it might make that like combo together might work a little bit better. But at the same time, you know, you might get direct hit in the air and then just take those crit shots. Or I think as a Pyro, given the way the axe extinguisher has been nerfed, which I'll talk about in a bit about the nerfs, I might run the what's it called? The gun that the reserve shooter, the one that does crits when people are in the air. So that might be helpful. The classic, which is a new sniper rifle for the sniper, absolutely sucks. I've warned people that it sucked, and they still went ahead and crafted it and tried it out, and then came back and like, yep, it pretty sucks. The only really good thing about the classic, I suppose, is the fact that it's still a hit scan weapon and you don't get tunnel vision. But if you don't like the scope in tunnel vision stuff, then you might as well just use Huntsman, really, and just spam arrows kind of thing. The classic, basically, when you zoom in, it doesn't make you lose your it doesn't give you the scope view, so you don't have to worry about that. And also you can fire multiple shots without leaving the scope. It charges up even if you're not scoped in, which is really neat, but the charge is so slow and you can only headshot people once you're charged, so it really negates the benefits of the sniper. It really is a worse weapon. The classic, of course, is the classic sniper from the original Team Fortress Classic, so they just kept it the way it was, but it really isn't as great. You know, quick scoping with the Machina, quick scoping with the regular sniper rifle is just equally as good. And if you want a beginner weapon, I would say use the Machina or use the Piss rifle, the Sydney Sleeper. If you want a beginner weapon to help you learn how to be a better sniper, those two ones are kind of like body shot hero stuff. With the Machina allowing headshots as well, but because you could do extra damage with body shots using the Machina, it's pretty much worthwhile, and you're not going to be like, you might as well learn how to practice quick scopes rather than do body shots, or no scopes rather. But yeah. The last new weapon is the Tide Turner, which is a new shield for the Demoman, and it's pretty good. I have to say, it's pretty darn good. The best thing about the Tide Turner, is that you get fully charged if you kill somebody while charging. So you can charge into somebody, power up your crit, kill that person, and then you charge up your charge again, and then you just run out of there. So you can go in, you can bomb in, bomb out kind of thing, except you're on the ground. You can just kind of like run in, kill the guy, and then run back out, which is really handy. Very unlikely would you ever run in, hit somebody, and then run towards another person and kill somebody else, simply just because the way teams usually clump up together, it's not going to be really easy to do that. But being able to go in and out is pretty nice as well. I feel. But you do lose the immunity to fire that the charge and charge gives you, which I think is really, really super beneficial. And I think, let me just double check right now. Charge and charge also gives you like way more explosive resistance, which combined with the sticky nerf is like amazing. So let's talk about the nerfs, because those are the new weapons. The Tide Turner, it's a side grade to the charge and charge. You can use either one. I think both are viable currently. But there was a lot of nerfs. Holy moly! I have to. Oh my goodness! This changes the game a lot, and we saw this in especially competitive TF2 took a huge hit. The big one, of course, is the Demoman sticky bombs, which now have a damage ramp up. Basically, what happens is that when you shoot a sticky out, that sticky requires 2 seconds before it will do full damage. So when you first shoot it out, it does 50% its normal damage, and after 2 seconds, it will ramp up to full damage. And what that does is that it means that Demoman can't just throw stickies at their feet back up and just detonate them. It means that it's very hard to air det stickies as well, and it just means that stickies in general do less damage. And as a result, a lot of people have stopped using the sticky launcher completely, which I don't know if that's the correct move. In competitive, this is very noticeable because without the sticky launcher, the Demoman just isn't as fast. Demoman used to be the fastest class due to sticky jumps, allowing him to get to like mid fights a lot faster kind of stuff. The thing is that he does lose a lot of his damage output, which is huge. And I think one of the things that Valve should have done when they nerfed the sticky launcher was to buff the grenade launcher. Maybe something like give them 6 grenades per clip or something like that without upping the total ammo count, or maybe up the total ammo count and give them 6 grenades per clip. Like, that was the original design, and I think the reason they didn't do that is because they had to nerf it before. But because they nerfed the grenade launcher, the sticky launcher became a more predominant weapon for the Demoman in his arsenal, kind of thing. The sticky bomb, of course, now is kind of related more to setting up traps, more like kind of tricking people into, or like kind of kiting people towards your sticky bombs by like throwing grenades in a certain way. I think it would require a little bit of skill to use for sure. But I think sticky bombs can still be used, right? I don't really agree that using Demo Knight in competitive is really the way to go. I think if you want to use Demo Knight, you might as well do something else. I would think even like a sentry, like a mini sentry engineer might be equally as good as a charge and targe Demo Knight in competitive right now. Like, you can have a utility class that's just kind of off class to whatever you need at the moment. Even like a whip heavy, I don't think they have a whip allowed in some leagues, but just getting a heavy up to mid a little bit slower. Heavy might be a little bit better, despite heavy also having a nerf. But one of the things that I do want to see is not an immediate, like a knee-jerk rebuff of the sticky launcher. I want to see the community take a month and try to figure it out, try to see if they can do anything instead of just throwing their hands up in the air and giving up, kind of thing. I want to see them try to work around it to see if they can get the Demoman back up there. And we don't know, you know, some people might discover a new way or better way to play the Demoman. It might still involve using sticky bombs. I still feel like stickies is the way to go with the demo, just to keep using the stickies over and over again, but we'll have to see. Heavies also got nerfed in that their damage also ramps up, and in fact their accuracy also has to ramp up too. So when you first start shooting, it's not even spin up. When you first start shooting, the gun is not as accurate and also doesn't do that as much damage. It takes, I think, 1 second of firing, so it's not as long, but it takes 1 second of firing, and then your accuracy gets better and your damage does better. I don't think it's gonna affect heavies too much. Where it might affect heavies is, I haven't tested this out, is whether there is a ramp up and a ramp down. If there's an immediate reset as soon as you stop firing, that's going to be a problem. But if there's a ramp down, then it's going to be not as bad. So what I mean by this is that if I shoot, kind of like hop, spin, shoot again, like, because I'm not going to be firing constantly, right? I'm going to be firing, moving, maneuvering, and then refiring. I'm going to fire this guy, fire that guy. You know, good heavies will want to conserve their bullets. So if there is a ramp down where, like, it takes me a 1 second to charge all the way up to full accuracy, full damage, and it takes me a full second to uncharge that again, then that's fine. Like, that'll make heavies, you know, manageable. But if every time I stop firing it resets me back to 0, then that's gonna be a problem, because then I have to keep ramping up and I basically don't do anything. If you guys ever watch me play heavy, I fire like 1 bullet here and there every now and then, and if that bullet's not accurate, doesn't do that much damage, it really is gonna make me have to relearn how to play heavy in a different way. Bushwhacker no longer randomly crits, that's fine. Hitman's Heatmakers has a different reload thing, that's fine. Extinguisher now only do mini crits damage from the front. And a lot of people are telling me that this doesn't really make a difference. You for the most part, you'll still be killing people. And for the most part, I've been having a lot more more difficult time getting the axe on people these days. I mean, you know, two minis you can get a person, and a lot of times when you face people as a pyro, they're rarely ever at full health anyways. And if you face them, if they're at full health and you're facing them head on, you're probably not going to get the kill in them anyways. So it doesn't really make that much difference to the pyro. It doesn't really change their playstyle too much. It just means that W plus M1 pyros are going to have a little bit harder time. And as Mongoose pointed out to me, Puff and Sting with flare gun or with reserve shooter still going to work. I like having a hit scan long distance weapon as pyro, so I'm probably going to stick with the reserve shooter, especially if a lot of people are base jumping too. So pyro is still workable, and it might give me a chance now to use the power jack finally, because I tried using power jack before, but the extinguisher was still really good, so I didn't really prefer that as much. But I might try the power jack a little bit more now, considering that I might have a different way to crit people in the air after I've set them on fire. So those are all the nerfs as well. And like I said, I want to see people make the adjustments, see how they play the game now that things have changed. Pubs, of course, is always going to be pubs, whatever. The big things to keep an eye on is going to be the Highlander and going to be the 6v6 tournaments. Those are going to be the big difference maker. And I think one of the big things to note is that as soon as the update came out, the team that Benny is on had a game. And for the first time ever, Benny as Demoman, Benny is like one of the best Demoman ever. Just so much clips of him doing amazing stuff, and he was he dealt the least amount of damage out of his entire team, and that's never happened before. But I think people are just too used to Demoman being really, really strong. The complaint is that it slows down the game a lot. It makes it very defensive, but I think people just need to figure it out. Give it a shot. I mean, let us sit for about a month or so, I think, and we'll have to see how it goes, how people make the adjustments, because, you know, we're not terrible players. We are video game players. We pride ourselves on being able to adjust to new challenges and to exploit things wherever we can exploit things. So I'm sure somebody out there is going to figure out a way to do something. They're going to revolutionize Demoman once again, and then give Valve a new reason to nerf Demoman. Of course, the other thing is that Demoman, you know, was deserving of this nerf eventually, but it's been so long that people have gotten used to it, and that's just the problem. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening. I'll catch you guys next time. Until then, bye-bye.